Hello and welcome to Automate Code again. In this video, I'm going to discuss two examples that I prepared for you guys. One of the example, I will be discussing how to use Excel and how to add data with existing data to an Excel. And in the second example, we will be discussing a business scenario. This business scenario and what we will do in this example, actually we will be using function library, and then we will be using we will be totally writing everything function basis, and we will be calling our function from Excel to execute this business scenario. That means this to implement this test case, we will be writing all of the functions, and all of those functions will be called from Excel. All right, let's move forward with the first example. And let me tell you in the beginning that I will be supplying you this video in our website, and in the website, as usual, like other examples, I will be uploading the code in the website too, so that you can download it and play with it. All right, thank you. Let me move forward with the topics. The first example that I wanted to show you. All right, so let's take a look actually what we are doing here at a brief. So as usual, as we discussed in the previous examples, if you can see here, first of all we are discussing an Excel application object, and then we are creating another file system object, and then we are storing the file path into a variable. Okay, again let me tell you again that Excel.application, this Excel object is for accessing Excel file, and then to handle the Excel file, and then this file system object here in this example we will be using it for checking if the file in this path exists or not. Okay, by this line, in line number 9, we are first we are creating an object, then making it visible, and then in line number 10, you can see that by that file system object we are looking for that file that we are mentioning in this path. We are looking for that Excel file if it is exist. If it doesn't exist, then we are adding a workbook with it, and then we are selecting the sheet where we will be inputting data, and then we are inputting some data in it. So some data means we are inputting as you can see 111213, that means one row, 212223, that means second row, 313233, that means third row. Now in the first let me open this file where I have stored this file. Let me go to this path, and so this is the file test Excel. You can see that in the first line we are inputting the column header, and this is the 1 1 cell, this is the 1 2 cell, this is the 1 3 cell, this is the 2 1 cell, this is the 2 2 cell, and this is the 2 3 cell. Now in this way we are storing a name in the second cell, and then his age, and then the timestamp when we are writing the data. Same way, we have two rows at this point. I'll be adding some more rows. Okay, now let me go back to the example. So you can see previously we have discussed this timestamp. Okay, so what we are doing after we input David and 18, as you can see in the example, David and 18, we are storing a time, we are bringing a timestamp by calling a function that we have written. This is a custom function that we have written. If you search for Control F, if you search for that function by Control F, and it will take you to the function in the function library. Let me go there. Okay, so this is the function where we are generating a timestamp, and in the previous video we have discussed in details how we are generating this timestamp. Again, this timestamp is miscellaneous in a miscellaneous function library. Okay, now let me go back to my example where we were in the beginning. Now, if the file doesn't exist, then it is creating a record like David 18 and putting a timestamp, and then it is storing another record Mike 8, Mike 12, and then again storing the timestamp in this variable and storing this variable to Excel. Okay, and then we are saving it as by this name. If the file doesn't exist, in our case the file already exists, then it will come here in the else block. As this file already exists in our hard drive, it will come in the else block, and then it will print something like file exists now opening, and then it will be opening the Excel file mentioned in this path by this statement in line number 35. You can see that to open the Excel file, existing Excel file, we are using the um, Excel object that we have created in line number 4, and then we are asking workbooks to open. What is that workbook? This is the workbook to open, and then we are selecting sheet 1 where we will be writing our data. And then can you see that we are taking something from the input by input box. So we are asking enter how many new rows you want. So we are taking this value and then storing it in number of new rows variable. Okay, so see in line number 42, Excel sheet dot used range rows dot count, we have already discussed. By this line we are bringing how many rows of data currently we have in that Excel. Let's say in this Excel we have currently 1 2 3, these 3 rows of data. Now this line, this statement, it will return how many rows of data we have currently in that Excel. And then what we are doing, so let's say you have 3 rows of data. We have 3 existing rows of data, and then you want to add another 2 or 3 rows of data. So what we are doing here, we are adding number of existing rows. Let's say we have 3 existing rows, and then we want to add 2 more rows with the 3 existing rows. Then in total it is becoming 5. Okay, and then what we are doing here, we are starting a for loop from, let's say our existing rows are 3. So let's go there. So 1 2 3. So if we want to add one more rows, so we will have to start from 4 1 4 2 4 3, that is from 4. So how we are going there? So we want to keep the existing data. So what we are doing here, we are starting from number of existing rows, that is 3 plus 1. We are starting from 4, and then we are going up to total number of rows, that is this one. Total number of rows is number of existing rows, that is 3, plus what is the new number of rows we want to add? 2, that is 5. So we are starting a for loop from row 4 and going up to row 5. Total number of rows, that is 5. 3 plus 2 5. Now here when I equal to 4, we are going there, we are taking a name from input. Can you see we are taking a name and we are storing this name to excel sheet dot cells I1 dot value, that means 4 1. We are taking a name from input and storing it in cell 4 1, and then we are taking his age and storing it cell 4 2, and then we are calling generate timestamp to generate a timestamp and storing it in cell I3. I3 means 4 3, and then the value of I will be 5. Okay, and then it will compare is 5 less than or equal to total number of rows, that is 5. Yeah, condition is true, and then it will come here again and it will do the same thing. And after doing that, we are saving this existing file, and then we are exiting out from Excel. So let me do one thing. Let me make sure that before you start execution, if you have this test Excel or whatever file you have previously created by that example, you do not keep it open. Just close it and then you start execution. So what I'll do, I'll put some breakpoint here to show you how it is working. I'll put a breakpoint here, and then I'll put a breakpoint. Actually, let me put a breakpoint up there. Actually, let me put a breakpoint here. Now let me start execution. Again, I told you that that timestamp generation function that we are calling is inside miscellaneous function library. Okay, now let me start execution. Okay, so it has created an Excel object. Remember, this file is another file. That is a business scenario. It is not related to the example that we are discussing at this point. Now, can you see it has made that Excel object visible? Now, if you go there, it is an empty Excel object, and then if you come here, we are looking for if this file in the path mentioned here, if it is exist or not. We know this file is exists, so it will not go to line number 11. Instead, it will go to else block, and can you see here it will be printing something, and then it is going to open the Excel file. Can you see now it has opened the previous Excel file that we have created. Now we are selecting in which sheet we want to write, and then can you see here input box, we are asking for how many new rows you want to enter. Let's say we want to input 2 new rows. Okay, and then number of existing rows in this workbook is 1 2 3, right? So this line, when we will be executing this line, it should store number of existing rows should be 3. Let me watch this. Right button and then add to watch. Again right button and add to watch. Can you see now we have 3 rows of data, and then we have input how many number of new rows we have input. We want to input two rows, so it should be 3 plus 2. Total number of rows now should be 5. Okay, now if you watch this total number of rows, can you see it is 5. Now we are starting a for loop from number of existing rows, that is number of existing rows is 3 plus 1. We are starting from, so as we have 3 rows, now we want to write data from row 4. So that is what we are doing. We are starting from number of rows 4, and then this 4, it will be checking here, is 4 less than or equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. Then it will go inside, and then see here we are asking here, when this line will be executed, it will be asking for us to input a value. Enter name. Let's say let's input Juan. Okay, and then age, it will be asking for age, and if you go there, can you see Juan is stored in 4-1. Okay, because at this point, if you take a look at the value of I, you will see it is 4. So 4 and 4-1, we are storing the name, and then we are storing the it will, when you execute line number 48, it will be asking for age. Let's say age is 24. Okay, go there. Now can you see 24? Now this line we are calling a function generate timestamp, so it will be generating a timestamp here, and you can see that if you go to the local variables, we have all the month, day, time, and then we are looking for, is it less than 10? Yeah, month, we know the month is less than 10, then we are adding a 0 with it. Now can you see when we will be executing this line, this month will be 09, so that we can generate a proper timestamp. So we are doing this thing here, and then we are, if you go back now up there, can you see it has generated a timestamp, today's timestamp. Now it is 6:15 or 6:16, and then when you execute this next line, right, when you execute this next line, see now the value of I is 4, it will be 5, because for loop, every time it executes the counter here by 1 if you do not have a step here. Okay, if you do not have a step here. Now can you see I equal to 5, and this 5, is it 5 less than or equal to total number of rows? Yeah, it is true, and then it is looking for another name. Let's say put Oscar, and then his age, let's say his age is 30. Okay, and then generate timestamp will again generate a timestamp, new timestamp that is different from the previous one. Okay, so and then if you go back, can you see it has added two more row with the existing data, and then it is saving it and closing the Excel. Okay, now let me execute the same example again to show you that the data is saved and how it is working for the next iteration. Okay, now you can see that it is going, it is opening the file, right? If you go there, you can see that it has opened the file. Previously there were 3 rows. Now from the previous run it has added 2 more rows, and then um, now it is asking again how many rows you want to input. So this time I want to input 1 rows. Okay, now it is calculating how many rows we have. So number of new rows, we input 1 rows, we want to add 1 rows. And how many existing rows? Currently we have 5 existing rows, because if you count it, 1 2 3 4 5, right? And then we want to add 1 more rows. Now can you see it will start from number of rows plus 1. That means it will start from number of existing rows is 5 plus 1. It will be start writing from line number 6, and you can see it is asking us for a name. Let's say Angela, the new name. So if you take a look here in the Excel, that you know it is writing the data that we want to write, and then let's say her age, let's say 31. Okay, and then let's say this generate timestamp, it will generate a new timestamp and we'll be writing it there. Okay, so you can see that it is writing the data and it has saved the file. Yeah, can you see Angela, and the data is written in the Excel, and then we are closing the Excel. Now let me see how long my recording has gone so far. 17 minutes 51 seconds. Yeah, that's fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to upload this video. Actually I'll prepare another video for the another example. We want to keep this video shorter, so I'll be preparing another video for the another example. But in the meantime, let me do one thing. Let me close recording here, and then let me upload the code in our website. So I'll prepare another video and send it to you. Thank you for watching.